Well, it's November 12th, and got Luke Nissen running the camera. We're back in here on a pinch point. We got major bedding to our north. We're playing a kind of a northerly wind, so it's blowing back out towards this pasture here. It's really dreary out, and they're already cruising. We already seen a couple younger bucks. We're gonna see how it goes. Our prediction kind of was mid-morning movement, but maybe we'll get luckier than that, and the big one will stroll by sooner. I'm not shooting that first one. I don't even know what the second one's shooting. It doesn't look like the same size. Well, just had those two bucks coming in, that lead one. I thought I grabbed my bow, but just not sure. He looked like he was a 9. Pretty good deer. But Luke and I were talking. We know of a handful of bucks that are big shooters in here, a little bit bigger than that. So sometimes it pays being just holding off, and even though it gets later in November. But man, what a morning. I hope it continues. It's been awesome so far. I grunted right before that. I don't know. They might have been just cruising, because it's just such a good spot as far as catching deer, because they feel comfortable, but yet it's kind of open. It's right off the real thick stuff. So that was the plan. It's working so far. Luke, right here. Good buck. Try it. Thing's old. Oh yeah. Just squeeze it off. Yeah, if you can shoot him, shoot him. Kill him now. Meh. Meh. Shot under him. that was a roller coaster. I held on him right there for like probably a minute. Looks like I hit him back, kind of, but he was kind of quartering away, of course, so we'll definitely give that deer time. A solid Big 10. Wow. Well, just got down, trying to be quiet. We're about 20 yards from the tree that we got the shot off. We're gonna slip out of here this way because the deer ran that way. So the way he was cornering away, might have went up through and been, an alright shot. But it's like in the 10 o'clock hour when we shot him, so gonna give him at least 5 hours. But yeah, we're gonna slip out of here and come back here later. I'll be right there. So you can tell where it penetrates. Well, we just got up to the kind of past where the initial hit was. Hadn't found any blood, and we got to the arrow because we were pretty certain we were on the trail that he took after the hit. Just found the arrow. We're gonna inch up a little bit further and hopefully follow at least a little bit of blood to help us maybe get up to him. But we're also gonna just take it easy, and if it's not looking good, we might just back out too. So
we were watching from the tree. We lost him. I think he dropped over this little hump here, but little speck. So he just dropped into this to follow the creek.
Or we got some good right here. Touch that Frieden. What's it like? Mucusy? This?
Yeah. It's like some liver, don't it?
He stopped right here.
What's your guys' thoughts?
well, we're gonna pin this last spot pretty much where he bedded. I think we found another spot of blood, didn't we, after the 2 beds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 3 beds, basically.
I think we're going to come back in the morning. It'd probably be a lot easier
Yeah.
visibility. It's just, we're getting turned around in here, walking 10 yards. It's just,
I don't think we pushed him. We gave him 12 hours. So it's not like we
Yeah.
came in here and just willy-nilly 4 hours later chased a deer around. I mean, we gave this thing, Fred shot him this morning at like 10 o'clock.
not much blood though. Yeah, so we're gonna head back to the truck here. We're gonna get back in here in the morning. Well, we're in here the next morning. We'd given him about 10 to 12 hours when we came in last night. With any hope, he's gonna be in here somewhere within a couple, maybe within 100 yards. So. Stay hidden for sure.
You see him?
Yeah, right here. Oh yeah.
What do you think of that, boys?
Oh man. All doubts are
That's a long 24
sealed.
hours.
Right where we thought. The good thing is the arrow was angled upwards, as we all know. You could tell, but you're just skeptical. When they first hit it, it's hard to really see when they first take off. But
Right here is where we found Brett's buck, and when we were looking for him last night, we found, I think it was actually about 3 different beds. And they're all right along facing the creek. And so this morning we decided to come in and basically, we didn't have much blood, so just look along the creek. We really learned a lot from this track job. And one thing we've all noticed over the years is, when deer are wounded, they tend to head back to areas that they really feel safe and have lived there in the past. So we kind of took the information we had last night, noticed all the beds with blood in them were next to the creek, overlooking the creek with the kind of the wind in his advantage. So this morning we came in, just looked along the creek, figured if we were going to find him that he would be in a similar type area, and we picked him up 150 yards from where we left off last night. Well, November 13th, here we are with a buck we know a little bit about. Actually, Luke was the one filming me, and we both were together turkey hunting last spring, and we picked up his match set on the pasture hill. Just over the hill here. Just over the hill. And then Luke killed a turkey, so that was pretty cool. And then to have him be the one in here, you know, behind the camera made it that much more special. But, well, this is kind of a small property, really. I mean, it's pretty good for turkey hunting and deer hunting, of course, but the stand setup, it just worked perfectly. It's actually new. We just put it in this year, but yep, I knew I wanted to be back in there because it's right off like super good bedding. A couple 100 yards of timber and a big creek runs through it, and we were hung just on the south side of that, thinking, you know, to play like a north wind when it's steady wind, and that's exactly what you did. And I mean, it's really similar to the farm and setup where I shot my buck. I mean, you look at this from an aerial, and it's just a little dinky draw that runs through this. Yeah. But everything comes together there, and there's thick stuff nearby. It's where you want to be. I mean, yes. This draw that we actually shot him in, and he was coming out of the thick stuff to kind of work scrapes probably and search for does. But there's actually cattle back in here, and you wouldn't think, you know, some might think that a big one wouldn't, you know, actually live in here, but I'll bet you anything he beds on some of these hillsides sometimes, and that's, you know, he might have been going to do that, or he could have just looped through where we were and right back to the thick stuff. Well, after coming in last night and finding the two beds, and we were super cautious, didn't have a whole lot of guys in here, and that's one thing that I would, you know, I guess recommend if you know you got a marginal hit like this. It's far back. You know, luckily on this deal the angle was, he was quartering away, so the arrow was kind of going more up through him, but it didn't hit exactly the mark that I was aiming for. It was just a little bit back, but that could have been because of the angle the deer was. You know, but the key is, I think, to just take your time, use your maps, especially when you don't, you know, if you get, you know, a little bit off the trail or mark as far as trailing, and especially at night. I mean, daytime, it's a whole different story, and that's how I ended up finding him, is coming in this morning. And well, Luke, we can get this deer out of here. I want to say a big thanks to the landowner, Jason. We both hunt this property, and we both go after these deer, and we're actually not the only ones. There's a few other people that come in here. It's not highly pressured, which helps, but we still have to kind of bounce around, you know, some other people at times, especially, you know, the first 2 weeks of November. You're going to get a lot of people in and out, and I think we just got off the spot of where those others were going and got back in by the thick stuff. But yeah, so, well, let's get him out of here, Luke.